Welcome to Astrodology, the podcast that brings you knowledge, wisdom, and principles that can help you find the peace and comfort we all seek and deserve in our lives. Full blood moon in Virgo. March 1st through 3rd, 12 degrees Virgo, total lunar eclipse. The theme is thoughtful control, sacred release, practical magic. Hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is the final core, the Virgo blood moon eclipse. We're going to download and open all of this up in a moment. First of all, I just want to thank you for tuning in and listening to another episode. It's hard to believe that we are in March. You know, March is all about movement and moving towards spring. I'm recording this on Monday, March 2nd. And we're here to talk about this final quarter, this Virgo blood moon eclipse. So welcome to the threshold. This is Coda Life Moon Lore. And today we enter a very powerful portal. Actually, the portal started yesterday on the 1st, but when these luminations come in, we have 2 weeks to live in their energy. And because we're experiencing eclipse energy, we have just about 6 months of this energy. So we enter a powerful portal. The full blood moon in Virgo peaked at 12 degrees on March 1st, followed by a total lunar eclipse in Virgo that is peaking on March 3rd, March 2nd and 3rd, depending on where you live. So this is just not your ordinary full moon. This is the final eclipse in a 1.5 year Virgo Pisces karmic cycle. So let's look at the numerology. This is 3-3 portal energy because this eclipse is coming in the 3rd month of March on the 3rd day. So 12 degrees also breaks down to a 3. 1 plus 2 equals a 3. So this is 333 energy. And this is the 3rd blood moon in this sequence. We had 2 blood moons last year in the fall. So here we are again. 3 is creation, 3 is integration, and 3 is the bridge. And March is the bridge as well. They kind of coincide. So the idea is behind this closure of this Pisces Virgo eclipse period is that this should be the final cord that you have to cut. Discernment becomes liberation. When you have Virgo and Pisces, we're in Pisces season, so discernment becomes liberation. So let's talk about the cosmic weather report. The luminary story. The sun is in Pisces, the moon is in Virgo, and we are balancing. We're balancing mystic versus mechanic, faith versus function, surrender versus control. And this eclipse activates the Virgo-Pisces axis, now intensified because that north node is in Pisces and the south node is in Virgo. What this means is we're releasing Virgo's over-control patterns and we're stepping towards Piscean surrender. This is karmic, this is evolutionary, and this is destiny work. So the major supporting transits are, believe it or not, I'm saying it's a supportive transit. Mercury is in retrograde in Pisces. Mercury conjuncts the North Node multiple times this month, not just during this time, but multiple times this month. And Mars is sitting at 0 degrees Pisces, which creates brand new spiritualized action. 0 degrees is always about new beginnings, fresh starts. 0 degrees is raw. And we had a lot coming into this new year at 0 degrees. 0 degrees is literally rebirth. And being in a 10-year, 2026 is a 1 and it reduces to a 10. So I want to take that 0 because 0 is rebirth, is co-creation. Mars, the planet of drive and aggression in Pisces, asks us, can you move without forcing? Because this is a shift from force to flow. Pisces is a water sign, so Virgo is about forcing and aligning and being very rigid. Now, Venus is very, very active and activated during this eclipse because of Virgo. So this Venus conjuncts Mercury in retrograde, Venus conjuncts Neptune, Venus conjuncts Saturn, and Venus is in a sextile with Uranus. We love whenever Venus comes to the party and really, really spreads herself through the crowd, because this is about love, harmony, reality checks, and awakenings. So this is really bringing this Virgo lunation forward with thoughtful communication. So the communication is going to be softer, more loving because of that Piscean spiritual energy with Virgo. So the communication is going to be, and I'm saying communication because, Mercury is the planet of communication. So it's going to be pleasing yet honest, grounded but yet compassion, because that Virgo energy is going to ground it, but coming from the heart and energy of Virgo and Venus, or I should say Pisces and Venus, it's going to be very compassionate. So for 1.5 years, the South Node has been in Virgo. So this has to do with overthinking, perfectionism, if you're overworking, self-criticism, and trying to, in air quotes, fix everything. So this eclipse is the final release to say, done with all of that stuff, because this is the last karmic editing session. We will be done with this energy. And you may notice that there's a mindset that you've outgrown, that you've decided to just suddenly let it go. There's a relationship dynamic that feels complete, whether the closure is complete or the connection is complete. There may be a health pattern asking for an upgrade. Maybe you need to finally go to the OBGYN, the dentist, the doctor, get a physical. And there's a belief about productivity that's dissolving. My thing is, I feel we've really been pushing ourselves, feeling like we haven't been able to do enough, because energetically we haven't been able to do enough. There's a lot that's been going on energetically that has been kind of holding us back from moving as far forward as we want. A lot of it is energetically. What's happening politically and socially will affect us mentally. But Virgo, being Virgo, Virgo wants order. That's one of its superpowers. Where Pisces just like, can we just flow? Can you just let me surrender to these beautiful waters with ease? So the idea is, you cannot heal by controlling everything. Now, there are things in life we need to control, but when you think about healing, you can't control, or you can't heal by trying to control everything. You heal by allowing what is unfinished to be imperfect. Let me say that again. You heal by allowing what is unfinished to be imperfect. So I know I have projects that I started off even at the end of last year coming through wanting to do. They are unfinished and they are imperfect. But I have some other projects that actually came through. Let's do a nervous system check-in, because whenever there's a lunation of this magnitude, of this energy, and new moon, full moons in energy bring a punch, but this is a total lunar eclipse. So Virgo, by the way, rules the nervous system. So Virgo rules the nervous system. And that alone, Virgo is an earth sign, the body, your health. Virgo is a sign about health. We can see a lot of hypochondriacs from the Virgo sign. So during this eclipse time, you may feel like the following. You may feel mental overstimulation. And I know I started feeling mental overstimulation, in the pre-shadow when the solar eclipse came in. I started feeling mental overstimulation. You may feel a desire to reorganize your whole life. And I get and understand this. There was a big monkey on my back of something that I needed to accomplish and finish, that I finally finished. And now I feel that I can start the reorganization of my life. You might have sudden clarity about energy leaks. You might say, hey, I'm not sleeping enough, or I'm spending too much time around this person. When I'm around this person, I feel XYZ. Exhaustion. You may feel exhaustion from trying to always hold it together. It's tough trying to always hold it together. So we've been exhausting ourselves because if we let go and surrender, especially during these crazy times, we just might lose ourselves. Your body may be asking, can we simplify? Can we just narrow things down to the lowest denomination? So coming into March, the great thing is the theme and the energy is steady, because we've got another water and earth lunation with this Piscean energy, with its opposite being Virgo. So the theme of March, we wanted to use a buzzword, think steady. No oppositions are dominating this first half of the month. So we won't have any chaos. So without that chaos, we can literally sincerely start to recalibrate. Virgo healing isn't dramatic. It's very precise and very clean. So as we think about our nervous system and our health and Virgo governing this energy, especially over these next 2 weeks that this energy of the full moon will be activating, drink water, walk outside, declutter just one drawer. Just one drawer. You don't have to declutter the whole room, but just one drawer, and not your whole life. Maybe focus on decluttering one area in your life, one mental habit in your life, because small corrections create massive energetic shifts. Sometimes we feel like if I can't clean the whole darn room or the whole house, it's not worth it. But again, these small corrections, these small steps can create energetic shifts. Let's talk about shadow and light. Shadow expression. So the shadow expression is the less than stellar, the darker side of things. Hypercriticism, micromanaging, doubting your intuition. I have been harping on this with my students this year, about just going with the flow, and I've been embodying it and preaching or practicing what I've been preaching. Escaping into fantasy. So Pisces will help us do this, because Pisces is the dreamer. Pisces is Neptune. That Neptunian energy wants us to kind of disconnect from reality. And I tell you right now, it's a great time to want to do that, because the horrific things that are going on and occurring right now. Fixating on details to avoid feeling, like getting fixated on how something should land, how something should be written, how something should be placed. These are indicators of the shadows, because Pisces honestly can drift into illusion, but Virgo can grip too tightly. They can grip too tightly. So this eclipse is what they're known for, is exposing both sides of the energy, both sides of the coin. Light expression. So when this eclipse is happening, the light side of this dark side is discernment. You start to have discernment. You start to set up boundaries, practical magic, simplification and streamlining, deep, meaningful healing. You start to realize that you do have the power to heal yourself, and just drinking that extra glass of water or going to bed 30 minutes earlier can start to help you heal. You start to have a clear sense of purpose because of everything going on in the world outside of us. Virgo is a humanitarian sign. Pisces is very spiritual. So between these two, your purpose should start to become clearer and clearer and clearer. Nervous system recalibration. Just grounding yourself, going outside and connecting with the Virgo energy is really super helpful. But when you think of groundedness, you want to think of spiritual embodiment. It's a great time to pray. It's a great time to connect to Source, Mother Nature, Gaia, because you are ascending. We are ascending, and we ascend not by escaping, but by integrating. It's time to integrate and bring the arsenal out. We're in a spiritual warrior time of life. So there's 3 sacred actions. I call this practical alignment, 3 sacred actions. And you want to keep it simple. Keep it simple. So the final cord ritual. Write down the pattern, the mindset, the relationship dynamic, and the self-criticism. Write these down. Write down the pattern, the mindset, the relationship dynamic, and the self-criticism. Burn it safely or tear it up into pieces. This will then signify the final cord that you have to cut. On the 3rd, and I hope you get to hear this on March 3rd. March 3rd holds a rare 24-hour energetic opening called Purim. So this energetic portal will open on the 3rd and go 24 hours into the 4th. So it's a window where doubt can transform into certainty. Do one act of kindness, give something, express gratitude, support someone quietly. Because during Purim, giving seals your release. So again, March 3rd through 4th, an energetic opening called Purim. This is a window where doubt can be transformed into certainty. So this comes from Kabbalah, because the reason we don't move forward in the way that we do because we lack certainty. Simplify one system. Simplify just one system in your life, because Virgo rules systems. So don't overhaul everything. Pick one system to simplify. Choose one. Your morning routine, your budget, your health habit, your workspace. Streamline it. Practice magic. And when I say practice magic, it's almost like just the magic comes in using crystals, using smoke, but the magic comes in affirmations about yourself. Like, I got this. I'm the best at this. Everything always works out for me. So that is the magic part. Journal prompts. Write 3 journal prompts. Whenever you do journal prompts, always do them in 3s. 3 is the number of creation. So here's some ideas of some journal prompts. Where am I trying to control what is asking to be surrendered? What perfection standards am I finally ready to release? And number 3, if I trusted divine timing completely, what would I stop forcing? These are some powerful, powerful questions. So closing transmission. This blood moon is not chaotic. Like, again, there's no crazy oppositions or anything crazy. This blood moon is clarifying. It's the final exhale of a karmic chapter that began 18 months ago when the nodes shifted from Aries Libra into Pisces Virgo. You are rebuilding your path. March is the bridge. So march across, march forward. Mars is at 0 degrees Pisces, and it says, move spiritually, act gently, and lead with compassion. And then Virgo comes around and says, choose what truly supports your well-being. And then Pisces whispers, trust the process, trust the unseen. So welcome to this threshold, everybody. Ascend, simplify, release, because the universe and the cosmos has built the bridge. Release what is no longer aligned. Streamline what supports your soul. Move from force into flow. Ascend, simplify, and release. Total lunar eclipse in Virgo. Final eclipse in Virgo Pisces cycle. South node in Virgo, the final release. North node in Pisces, surrender to divine timing. Mercury retrograde in Pisces. Mars at 0 degrees. Venus conjunct Mercury, Neptune, and Saturn. The themes of this eclipse and this moon: letting go of perfectionism, releasing over control, nervous system recalibration, practical spiritual embodiment, simplifying daily systems, trusting divine timing, and shifting from force to flow. Welcome to the threshold, everybody. Ascend, simplify, release, because the bridge is built. We have until the 3rd for the highest peak energy, but you can live in this energy for the next 2 weeks until we get to the new moon in Pisces. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for listening to another episode of Astrology with Astrid and this whole cosmic conversation about this crazy, amazing, beautiful blood moon in Virgo. Thank you, thank you, thank you for listening to this episode as we enter this powerful portal and we eclipse literally ourselves. So eclipses are about the truth coming forward. So be ready to face the truth. Be able to look in the mirror and be able to discern what you honestly, authentically need in your life to help you heal. Remember, 3 is creation, 3 is integration, 3 is the bridge, and March is the bridge. March across to something or march across away from something. Have a great, great, great lunation. Thank you for tuning in. Namaste, everybody. Thank you for listening to Astrodology. If you enjoyed this episode and would like to help support the podcast, please hit the subscribe button and tell your friends about it by sharing this program on social media. You can also follow me on Instagram at Coda Life Goddess or at codalife.com. Coda is C-O-T-A, Coda Life Goddess or codalife.com. Thank you again for listening to Astrodology, and I'll see you next time.